With all of this craziness going on, like I'm looking at this lawsuit, for like a rap battle. And anybody that's been in hip hop knows it's wrong. Whether they like Kendrick or not is not important. But it's like nobody is really calling this shit out. And I can't figure out why. I don't know why they are not calling it out. I don't know why they be like, hey, that's not right.
They are compromised. Hip hop media is compromised in more ways than one. So Glasses Malone, which is a friend of the show, I hope is a friend of the show. Shout out to Glasses. He about to drop a video today that I'm waiting for because it seemed like it's dope. I like when people get real creative and do something different.
Youngers ain't nice. Smother beats broken with all kind. Gangsta rap when the game need a DP.
Glasses has been calling out hip hop media, and more specifically East Coast media. Joe and Jada, Cameron and Mace, Joe Budden, Gillian Wallow. Why is it that they're not calling Drake out for his lawsuit and him suing and him going to the courts and him potentially changing hip hop and how art is created forever? And I just want to say this, they compromised. Joe Budden specifically, I was a fan of Joe Budden since the beginning. For years, I've been watching Joe Budden podcast. I remember Dirty Joe. Joe is one of the reasons why I wanted to do YouTube all the way back in them years, right? I started YouTube in 2010. I've seen the transition for a guy like Joe Budden. Joe Budden, I stopped watching and I stopped paying for Patreon, and I got a password. My homeboy got a password for his Patreon, the highest tier too. Yeah, he shared with me. Shout out to my homeboy G. Friend of the show, she'll be my podcast mate. We'll get to that one day. I started hearing Joe Budden's dog whistles, the elitism in dog. When Joe Budden started getting money, he started talking about the poors and you poors, and everything is about you should be paying this and you should be paying that. Right? I started hearing him kind of disrespecting people like myself who spend his hard-earned money, who spend his last to support these artists because I want to support us. All the lights in my car is on. I got a cracked windshield. I got no rear view mirror. You get what I'm saying? I had to seal my sunroof because it was leaking, causing water damage, was making my leather seats mildew. I drive a 2012, no payments. When I start hearing certain things, I start feeling away because I know that you're wealthy and you feel this way because you off of the backs of me. So when you start looking at a nigga that starts saying certain things, you got to just put them in certain categories. When a brother like Joe Budden goes to the media and goes to the news and says, I made $20 million, I make $1 million a month, he's dog whistling. He's dog whistling for the sellout. He gonna protect business interests. So you're not getting the real from Joe Budden no more.
Love to see him go out. It doesn't have to be here, although I think it'd be amazing here. But like I
not invited up here, buddy.
Fair enough.
Not invited.
But see,
and I just wanted to come in here real quick after I played that clip because Joe uninvited Drake to his platform, and I just still think that's odd, and I still stand by my statements because it took him to have a spat with Rob Markman for you to ban him. It didn't. The lawsuit wasn't enough. You get what I'm saying? Like I get it. Shout out to Rob. Love Rob. Totally handled that with class, and I think the culture once again showed Drake who they're behind. But Joe Budden waiting until after this situation and not the lawsuit is very telling, and I still stand behind everything in this video. Let's keep it going. The reason why I feel as though Joe Budden is declining now, and the reason why I don't watch them as much and they get these little clips that go viral is because they're not keeping it real. He got business relationships to protect. The Diddy trial showed me a lot. This beef also showed me a lot. It showed me who's compromising, who isn't, who keeping it real and who ain't, who protecting their business interests and who not, who protecting the bag. And that's what's happening. But then on a real deeper, more spiritual level, these people are compromised because they haven't done the work. They never liked Kendrick. They never liked Kendrick's music and what he stood for. Don't get me wrong. They like some of the slaps. They're going to say all the lip service because what I realized with hip hop in the hip hop industry, there's a lot of lip service. People say the right things in order to protect their relationships, but you can always hear the truth. And I've said this about Drake for years. A lot of people think that he was inspired by Fonte. Some people say he was inspired by Max B. Some people, right? There's so many things, but I'm going to tell you one thing about Drake. He's going to say what he thinks is going to get him a certain audience so he can feel accepted. So early on, it was Fonte, it was Blue Brother, it was Pharrell, it was all of these more boom bap sounding guys, and now he hanging out with 21s because he's going to say whatever he can say in order to get that audience. You know, try to fishnet all these different audiences. And that happens in hip-hop media a lot as well, to where people say the lip service thing because it sounds good. Yeah, To Pimp a Butterfly. Yeah, oh yeah. Right? But niggas really only fucked with Damn. And niggas only really started fucking with Kendrick after Damn when he was making the more hits. Like, niggas ain't really fuck with fuck your ethnicity. Joe Budden is another one that you can hear what he tells you. Joe Budden, and I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of Joe Budden. I'm a big supporter of Joe Budden. Let me not say fan, because I don't be fanning for none of these people. I realize that I'm not really a fan like other people are fans. I keep it objective and I keep it subjective at the same time. You could listen to him. Joe Budden stay in a strip club. Joe Budden's a strip club person, so even though he's this lyrical miracle individual, he not listening to that shit. He gonna listen to R&B before he probably put on some Kendrick, and that's just me taking a observation and an educated guess, making a hypothesis based on what he said in the past. So you gotta realize the same reason why niggas is disrespecting Nas is the same reason why niggas didn't really fuck with Kendrick. They Hove fans, and don't get me wrong, Hove be spitting, right? Conscious Hove is my favorite. I hear every time. I like Hove B-sides. I don't like none of Hove hits, and I think that's why he's one of the best, because his B-sides is crazy comparison to what he puts out for the media. But if you listen to it, Joe Budden specifically, and I'm just gonna use him because Joe and Jada the same way. Jada, that's my nigga. You could tell he's a little bit different than Joe, but Joe is all the way up. It gotta be a hit. It gotta be for the girls. It gotta be for the right? He's a big DJ Khaled type nigga. You feel what I'm saying? Right? They don't really respect the Nas's. They say it because it sound good for hip hop, but they're not really putting on Nas. They don't really understand the introspective, deep complexity of a Nas and what he really about and the knowledge he really kicking. Niggas don't like knowledge. You want to hide something from niggas, where you put it in. You're right. The motherfucking book. So Kendrick is the book to these niggas. And so they wanted Drake to come out on top. They want to be in the clubs and the street. They say it all the time. Ice is the same way. Ice is the same. Ice on the Joe Budden podcast, he like more street shit. I don't like more street, even though he's nothing like that. Even though I know his brother Arsenal is the real one. I rock with Arsenal. Arsenal, real disrespectful person. But come on, bro. A lot of these dudes, they like this specific thing of hip hop. And it's mostly cannon fodder. What I like to call it. Cannon fodder. Just and it's a complexity and some nuance to it, which is the reason why I like the Offset, because it's genuine, it's real, and he trying something different. The new Offset album, Kiari, it give me something different. He giving something different. You can hear the growth there. They only like a specific thing. They like the trap, gangster, ga rap. That's why Joe Budden, regardless of what he like to say, and same thing with JID, right? I love JID, but being in a strip club and booty club don't match up to your music, and that's the reason why I don't work for a lot of these artists today that think they conscious or that are rapping, because it don't really match up. The lifestyle and what they saying don't really match up. Joe be saying, even though Joe's a lyrical miracle rapper, he not listening. He gonna go R&B. That's who he is. He in the strip clubs mostly. So that's what New York is about. If you listen to Cameron, if you listen to Mace, they flashy. Their music and their subject matter is a little bit more rudimentary. There's a complexity to that too. Just knowing the certain watches, knowing certain swag and things and lingo, it's a swag to that. I'm not discrediting that when I say that, but I'm just saying as a comparison, most East Coast dudes are gonna go more Drake. That's the reason why the East Coast lost all of his luster. That's why I lost all of his lore. It stopped being on some knowledge shit and it got caught up in the Southern trap gangster life. New York was never gangster. It came off a gritty persona, because that's what was happening in the 90s. When I was born in 93, it was like 2,000 murders in New York. That's crazy today. They think 500 is crazy today. Back then, it was wild. So yeah, there was an energy and an aura around New York that was more so, and I wouldn't even say gangster. I would say just mostly reactionary to what the system was putting on people. It was a reaction to what the system was doing. Some of the most corrupt police is in New York. Some of the most corrupt police is in LA. So there's a similarity there, but New York always kicked knowledge, the 5%ers, the guard talk. You know, that was what made New York different comparison to everywhere else. And New York lost that. Booty club? When did the booty club become the place in New York? Think about it. Everything switched. So New York has no identity and they don't know what it is anymore. So they see themselves in Drake. Flashy, number one, we the best, could give you bars, but could give you hits and slaps. It don't have nothing to do with the integrity. And that's what happened to New York. It lost a lot of its integrity. The East, the reason why I do rock with Jada, because Jada there to check Joe. Because if it was up for Joe, it would just always be about the rah-rah, the amusement park of it all. It's not about the inner workings and the behind the scenes. It's always about the thrills. It's never about the tough conversations. And that's the reason why you're not going to hear a Cameron. You're not going to hear a Mate. You're going to hear disrespect of the legends and the OGs that was kicking that knowledge. That's the reason why niggas don't be respecting KRS-One like that. KRS-One should be on everybody's podcast at least once. He's that knowledgeable and he's that dope. The last time time I seen him, he was on Be Real podcast, getting the information and the knowledge from the West Coast and how a New York DJ moved over to the West Coast and started doing the DJing. And it led to, I watched the whole Be Real podcast with KRS, and he was getting the knowledge. I love it. But do you see him on the East Coast? Do you see him pushed up and championed? No. Do you even see them trying to interview Rakim? Do you see them trying to go back and interview the gods that was preaching the knowledge and preaching the wisdom? No. That's the interviews I want to see. They keep going back to the Rockefeller in the 90s Rockefeller. They don't go back and talk to the Canes. They don't go back and talk to the Roxanne. They're not really trying to really talk about the essence of hip hop. They want it to be something different, right? It's all about the bag. It's all about the money. So they compromise in more ways than one. Knowledge, wisdom, emotionally. They don't want to ruin them relationship. It's all about the bag. And that's why everybody has lapped the East Coast. Everybody. You see how Meek got more in tune and in touch with himself? I mean, granted, a lot of the things he tweets online is kind of crazy on Twitter. Some people need to get away from Twitter. But as you notice, as his consciousness and his music has hit more of a consciousness or more of a warning or more of a cry out for change, people start falling off of him. Same thing with A$AP Ferg. A$AP Ferg just released a dope album, a dope project where he was very vulnerable about what had happened to him when he was younger. You see how everybody tiptoed away from that? Same thing with YG. Everybody want to just gloss over it. Let's just party. Let's just, yeah. Oh, if you notice, all the independent media calling him out. Wayne, Rob Markman, Justin Hutt, myself, Screw. All of the people that have independence, we call them out because we don't have no business relationships to protect. And we want to have an honest, genuine conversation about hip hop, not just rap, not just pop, not just where the money at, where the bag at. S.O. Heineken, they tell you, if you listen, they tell you what they about. That's why I like Wallow. That's why you don't see Wallow as much anymore. Once Wallow exposed himself and once Wallow came in front of all those people and called them out, kind of quiet on Wallow. You've been seeing Gilly doing all this Gilly stuff. It just is what it is. It's a clown show. I'm not hard on New York artists. New York artists, I love y'all. I love New York artists. New York media is my problem. The gatekeepers of New York is my problem. All about flash, all about cash, and not about the knowledge of self, not about what New York, the OGs really stood on. If you really listen to Run DMC, if you really listen to KRS-One, if you really listen to Public Enemy, you really even listen to Wu-Tang and what Old Dirty was kicking, what Method Man was kicking, and what Raekwon and what it was really kicking. That's what happened, Glasses. That's what's going on. Niggas is compromised. And if you want to know what happened to the game, it's a long trail. And the South get a lot of blame for it. It's not the South. The South was manipulated and used just like everybody else is. Every city get manipulated and used for their sound. Mustard had a time when they was, trying to dry him up. They all have their opportunity. It's compromise, man. They compromise. And that's the reason why independent media is moving so hard right now on the boots, on the ground, because people want that real shit. The jig is up. The people see it. The people will see it eventually. And that's not to discredit the Joe Budden podcast. That's not to discredit Gilly and Wallow. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just letting you know what I'm making a hypothesis from what I see. If I'm lying, I'm flying. The bag, they tell you in the bag. Yo, they get money, pocket watching, all of that shit be happening. I'm not the bad guy, man. I'm just letting you know how I see it, man. I'm just letting you know that's what I see. I see what I see, and that's what I see, man. All of these guys are compromised, man. You can't fuck with them, man. You cannot fuck with them, man. I am from the South Bronx. My name is Pedro, and these guys are compromised. I tell you, you can't fuck with them. They're fucking bad guys. They're the fucking bad guy. My name is Scarface. They're the fucking bad guy. That's what it is, man. I tell you every time. I don't tell no lie. One thing I don't do, I tell no lie. That's why you see the Nas disrespect. Niggas don't want to read. Niggas don't like that Kendrick shit. They definitely got a problem with the West Coast, and they got a problem with the South, low key. But that's neither here nor there. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I release a video. Donate to this Cash App right here if you want to help the channel. Anything is appreciated. The best way to support this channel is to become a member. Link is in the description. Hit the link. Let me know how you're feeling. I'm fucking with you. Are you fucking with me? Join to be a member. Join the Good Readers Club. I appreciate y'all. Read my soul. Out of here. Peace.